All right, I know the day is going quick. I wish you had more time with Cindy. I know that she is fantastic and has been a great, great advocate here for Pure Romance as well. But I will tell you one that you've seen on Rise and Grind. You've seen that showed up on Live Alive, and this is Brock Johnson. I know some of you guys follow him on Instagram. I actually started following him as well. He got me to follow him. I'm like, who is this guy? He's so creative. And that's what he's going to be talking about this today is how to go out there and get your tribe built. How to go out there and look for new people in business, how to expand your funnel, and doing this all with social media.
Hey there, what's up, everyone, and welcome to this live training today. For those of you who have never met me or never heard of me before, my name is Brock Johnson. I'm at Brock11 Johnson on every social media. And today I'm here to talk to you about social media growth strategies for 2022. I have over 300,000 followers on TikTok, and I have a top 5 ranking podcast. And I think my biggest claim to fame is over on Instagram, where I have been growing by 1,000 followers per day for the last 365 days straight. Today is actually the 1-year anniversary of starting that growth trend and starting that huge following that I built, a huge community over on Instagram. It's been really successful. It's been really rapid, but it's been sustained. And I think that's a huge key that we're going to talk about today is sustained growth. Because you can grow, you can have a video go viral and take off and have overnight success, but that's 15 minutes of fame. And I don't want you to just have 15 minutes of fame. I want you to have sustained growth, because that's what leads to a bigger business. That's what leads to more long-term happiness and just greater success. So the principles I'm going to share with you today, they can really apply to just about any social network. They can apply to Twitter. They can apply to Instagram, Facebook, Snapchat, TikTok. They probably wouldn't apply very well to MySpace, but to pretty much any platform that you would still actively use in 2022, these growth strategies apply and they consistently work and deliver sustained results. So social media growth strategies for 2022. Let's get into it. First of all, the first key, the biggest step one to growing on any social network is what I like to call a single subject account. A single subject account. Single subject accounts is basically an account, your profile, that is focused on one topic, hence the name, a single subject account. Gone are the days where you can talk about all your different interests and passions and hobbies and expect to grow. I like to use the analogy of like walking into a restaurant. Imagine you walk into a restaurant and you're expecting it to be a taco restaurant. You want Mexican tonight, you walk into a taco restaurant and they're like, yeah, we have tacos, but we also sell hats. And we also do your taxes over here. And then you can take a cycle class over in this area of the restaurant. And then if you go to the back, there is a hand weaving class going on. And you can take a class to learn how to hand weave your own knitted hats. You're going to be confused. You're going to be lost. And you're not very likely to recommend that restaurant, that establishment to anyone else, because how do you recommend it? How do you talk about something that doesn't have a clear focus or subject? What you would say if you did want to recommend a great taco restaurant is, oh my gosh, you got to check out this taco restaurant. They have the best surf and turf taco I've ever had in my entire life. That taco restaurant had a very specific focus. They had a singular subject that they excelled at, so it made it easier for you to recommend. But when you're talking about a million different topics on social media, it's really tough to grow. And I understand that may be confusing because you see the Kim Kardashians and the mega influencers of the world who do talk about a million different things. But it's important to remember that that's a different lane. They didn't necessarily grow by doing that. They grew because of other things. They grew their following for maybe having a singular subject, and now they can talk about other things. But we're going to get into that. Don't even worry. A single subject account, first of all, it provides clarity, like I was saying, for you and your customer. If you're that taco shop from the analogy, and you know that your singular focus is making the best surf and turf tacos available, well, then you have clarity of what you need to work on. And when your customer walks through the door, they have clarity of what they can expect. So it provides clarity for you and your customer. It provides notoriety, an ability for people to talk about you and recommend you, and it establishes you as the go-to expert. You might not be the world's #1 sex coach, but maybe you can be the #1 sex coach for the Detroit metropolitan area for women above the age of 35 who have recently gone through a divorce. It provides notoriety. The more focused or the more singular you can get with this subject, the more notoriety you can establish in that field. And then number 3, along those same lines, credibility. You can create credibility for yourself when you really focus down on one subject. And then finally, of course, it provides a sense of community. People can come together around this subject. People can gather and talk about it, and just feel like they are involved because they know what they're going to expect. They're following you for this one subject. So it provides community for you and your followers. And of course, community is great for engagement, because then it's not a monologue of you talking to your followers. It's a dialogue of a conversation between you and your followers. So a single subject account, really ultimately what this is step 1, and it's picking a niche. Step 1 to growing on any platform is to pick your niche. And I'm very intentional when I say the word pick, because I do believe that your niche is ultimately something that you pick. I think sometimes I see trainings out there that are titled how to find your niche or how to discover your niche. And I think that puts too much mysterious, universe, big picture, horoscope. You're going to find it and discover it. It's not this magical, mystical thing that exists out there. It's just something you pick. And if you need a synonym for the word niche, topic, focus, subject, whatever you want to substitute for that word, but it's the singular subject, the singular focus, the singular niche for your account. Now, let me help you with the 2 things that I think you need to pick. There's really 2 components of niche, because maybe you're going so far and you're like, all right, Brock, I know my niche. My niche is health and wellness. I'm sorry to break it to you. That's not a niche. That's an industry. All right, Brock, I know my niche. I am going to be a confidence coach. That's an industry. That's not a niche. So here is how I define niche. And really it's in 2 parts. I define niche in 2 parts. Part number 1 is who you post for. So start to think about the demographics. And if you need to, after this training, you can sit down and write down as many of the demographics as you can. Is it a man? Is it a woman? What is their age? What is their identity? What is their occupation? Are they married? Are they single? Do they have kids? Do they have multiple kids? What is their occupation? Are they a professional? Have they left the professional industry? Are they an entrepreneur? Maybe you can get even more specific than that. Are they a freelancer? Are they a graphic designer? Like, what is their demographics? Are they a Virgo? Are they an Aries? Like, get as specific as you can with this group of people. Who are you posting for? And if you can get so specific that it's just one single person you have in mind, that's even better. To be totally honest with you, when I'm posting on my Instagram, I have one singular person in mind. And I won't tell you her name, but I will tell you who she is. She is the mom of one of my friends from college. Every time I post on Instagram, I think, would my friend's mom benefit from this post? Does this post, would it make sense to her? Would she be able to learn from it? Would she want to share this post with her friends? Would this post benefit her? So I have it nailed down so specific with my who. A woman, she's about 50 something, 54 years old. She's got 2 or 3 grown kids. She's trying to build a business. She works from home. She's a side hustle and entrepreneur. I have this person so clearly identified in my mind. And I want you to spend some time after this training really identifying who are you going to be posting for. And it might be beneficial for you to think about, what groups am I a part of? What groups was I just a part of? How do I identify? Who do I feel most called to serve? Who do I feel most comfortable talking to myself? So who you post for, that's the first part. And the second part of how I define niche is just what you're going to be posting about. What is the topic that you are helping that group with? What is the singular subject that you're going to be talking to that group about? Because when I hear people say, confidence is my niche, all right, confidence may be your topic, but who are you talking to about confidence? Because talking to an 18-year-old girl is going to be different than talking to a 45-year-old man. It's different groups of people who you are going to be talking about that same subject for. And then let's take it a step farther. If it's confidence, what area of confidence? Is it confidence on video? Is it confidence public speaking? Is it confidence in the bedroom? Is it confidence in dating? Let's get really, really specific. And I want you to err on the side of specificity when it comes to identifying your niche. And before we go any further, I need to tell you that the majority of your posts on whatever platform you decide to choose, whatever it's Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, the majority of your posts should be related to that niche, to that focus. Because again, let's go back to that analogy from earlier. If you're the taco restaurant and you identify your niche is going to be the best surf and turf tacos that people under the age of 35 are going to love because they're a little bit out there. People are a little bit older. They might not like these tacos as much. They're for the younger crowd, the Instagram crowd who's going to take a picture of their food before posting it. That crowd, that's who you're making your tacos for. Once you've identified that niche, we got to stick to it. We got to stick to it. On Instagram, I would recommend all of your feed posts be related to your niche. On TikTok, I would recommend all of your videos be related to your niche. If you're listening to me right now and you're like, but Brock, I do have a lot of different passions and I do have a lot of different things that I'm into. That's awesome. And I'm proud of you. And I think most of us would consider ourselves in that category. The majority of people from my conversations, from my coaching, the majority of people I work with tell me that same thing is, Brock, I have a lot of passions. I have a lot of different things I'm into. So how do I pick just one? First of all, you just pick. You're not marrying it. You're just dating it. You're just dating it for a couple months to see how it goes. And maybe you keep running with it. Maybe you keep dating it. But you have permission to talk about all those other interests and passions and hobbies on your stories. So there are Instagram stories. TikTok just released TikTok stories. Twitter, you can post different short videos that are related. So you have permission a little bit to share all those other interests and passions and hobbies. But for the majority of your feed posts, which are your pictures and your reels on Instagram, the videos you're posting on TikTok, the things you're posting to your page, your wall on Facebook, those things should be related to your niche. Now, I do have some case studies that I would love to share with you in case you're like, I'm not so sure about this guy. I'm not sure about everything he's saying. Here's some of my students' case studies. This is Charisse Allison. When she first started working with us, she had 724 followers. And her niche, as she would say, was, I was a woman's health and wellness coach. So I was glad that she had at least identified women. She wasn't just a health and wellness coach for everyone on the planet. She was at least a woman's health and wellness coach. But we started working with her and really, really refining her niche, and to the point where it wasn't even necessarily health and wellness. It was overcoming addiction and being the healthiest, best version of yourself through health and wellness after recovering from addiction. So she really honed in on that focus and identified that subgroup of people who were in recovery. And in just a few months, she went from 700 followers to over 43,000 and continuing to grow. I should have checked her Instagram today, because I bet she'd be at 44 or 45,000 by now. Just in the last few days, she continues to grow. Here's another one of my favorite examples. This one is the mobility duo. It's a husband and wife who run their Instagram together, and they used to post just about yoga and wellness and injury prevention and exercise and snowboarding, all those different things, wide variety of topics. But they started implementing this idea of niche and really focusing on their niche. And they identified, get ready for this, that their niche was helping snowboarders prevent injury through yoga. Can you think of anything that would be more specific than that? I mean, they're not even saying like skiers and snowboarders. Like they got super specific and just said they're helping snowboarders prevent injury through yoga. And they grew from 5,000 to now well over 42,000 followers, and they continue to grow. They have about one viral video per week at this point. It's insane, their growth, and they continue to grow, and it's sustained because they have a clear focus. When a snowboarder lands on their profile, they know right away that they need to be following the mobility duo. And then here's my account. I guess I'm my own student. I'm going to practice what I preach here. For the longest time on Instagram, I was talking about entrepreneurship and business and all the different social networks and TikTok and Snapchat and all those different things. But then about a year ago, almost exactly a year ago, I decided I'm going to get super focused, and I am only going to speak about helping creators and business owners grow with Reels, or organic Instagram growth with Instagram Reels. And I grew, and that's what I said earlier, from 78,000 to over 416,000. I think last I checked, it was over 425,000. It's been 1,000 followers a day for an entire year. So that's why I say step one to growing on any social network is having a single subject account, picking your niche, a clear group and a clear topic for that group. All right, so that's step one. Step number two is to clean up the bio in the existing posts. Let's go back to that analogy. I love using the taco shop analogy because I think sometimes we overcomplicate social media, right? Because there's algorithms and there's all these different platforms and all these different features. But when we go back to just regular businesses, like down the street taco shops, things start to make a lot more sense. So that taco shop, they've identified that their niche is going to be making the best surf and turf tacos for millennials that anyone's ever made. Okay, they've clearly identified their subject and their focus. They can still make other meals, but that is their clear focus. Well, they now need to make sure that their shop is cleaned up. They need to make sure that when someone walks by, the name, is centered above the shop and none of the lights have gone out so that you can actually read the name of the business. They need to make sure that the windows have been washed recently, that the floor has been swept. They need to clean up the way things look so that a customer would actually walk through the doors. So that when someone walks in and they look at the menu, they're not seeing a million different options from a million different cuisines from a million different countries. They're seeing right there, dead center when they open up the menu, okay, there is the surf and turf taco that I've been looking for. The equivalent to that on social media is cleaning up your profile and your existing posts. Now I'm going to run through what the ideal profile would look like. And this is for Instagram purposes. Of course, it might look a little bit different on other platforms, but generally speaking, it's going to be these same things. First and foremost, the username. I think it's best to have your own name or something really close to your own name as the username, because that tells people that they're going to be interacting with a human being rather than a business. Also, I'm way more likely to remember your name. Your followers are way more likely to remember your name than they are Fit Fab Funky 97 Butterfly. __ Yahoo, I love cats _ 17 _ Cheryl. It's much easier to remember someone's name. And then people can recommend you that much easier. So I would recommend using your name as the username. If you do run your Instagram account and have kind of like a business showing, like your Instagram account or your Facebook or your Twitter, whatever social network it may be, it represents your business rather than your personal brand, then it would be okay to have your business name there. But generally speaking, your name is good. Then the PFP, the profile picture. I see a lot of profile pictures that look more like my Zoom setup right now. They look more like the studio where like you can see like my full face and there's like the microphones in there and then there's like a lot going on in the background and maybe they're like holding up their product in the picture and there's just too much going on, too much going on. The profile pictures on social media are really itty bitty, right? They're small, they're hard to see. We're looking at it on our phone and it's smaller than a dime. Like it's tiny, those profile pictures. So it's best if you can get really close to the camera, a real close-up selfie like I have here. And then I would recommend using a tool like Canva to get rid of the noisy background, get rid of the distracting things going on behind you and all the other things in the picture, and just put yourself on a solid color. Because when you're scrolling through a long list of usernames and a bunch of different accounts on Instagram, the one that's on a solid background that has a big face that's easy to see, that's the one that's going to stand out, and that's the one that's going to get more clicks. Next, the title. This is something that you can set up on Instagram. This is something that you can set up on TikTok, and this is a searchable line. Most people on this line, they make a huge mistake, and I want you to listen to me right now. The mistake they're making is they're putting their name on this line. And I understand why. It's because most social networks, they label this line as name. So you got your username up here at the top, and then you got your name right here. So they're like, oh, I'll just put Brock Johnson. I'll just put my name. But this line right here, the title line, is searchable. And so that's why I recommend putting some keywords on that line. Ask yourself, what would my ideal follower, my ideal customer, my ideal member of the community, what would they look up and I would want them to find me? What would I want them to be searching for in order to find me? So I have IG growth coach, because people aren't going to look for Instagram marketing unicorn ninja. A lot of times I see people using like these special terms that they've made up to describe themselves. No one's going to be looking for that. People go on Instagram and they look Instagram growth coach, IG growth coach. And that is how they can find me. And those words, those keywords that you put on this line are searchable. So that's why I recommend putting some kind of a title for yourself or your account. Next, we're coming back to that word niche. I know you thought we were done with the idea of niche, but this is where it comes back. That first sentence, that first line of your bio, I like to recommend that that is your niche statement. And you get really specific with identifying your group and your topic. So on my line, I help entrepreneurs and creators. So that's my specific group. Grow with organic Instagram growth. So that's my topic, organic Instagram growth, the niche statement. Next up, add some credibility. You don't need to have a certification or a special degree. If you have that, that's awesome. But just your own personal journey, anything that you have personally overcome. I remember Sharice Allison from earlier, the woman who had overcome, or she helped people with health and wellness after recovering from an addiction. She talked about her own recovery story. She said, I've been in recovery for this many months, or I've been clean for this many months in her bio. You could also say, I've helped this many people. I've talked at this many trainings, something there that speaks to your credibility. Then a call to action. It's great to give people next steps. If you want people to act, you want people to click on your link, you want people to sign up and put in their email, tell them to do so. So the call to action, that's the next thing. And then of course, the link in the bio. So this, I know there's a lot going on here, but this is what the optimized profile looks like. This is what the perfect profile looks like. And then last but not least, the first 9, the most recent posts, the most recent tweets, the most recent TikTok videos. Go through just the first 9. You don't need to scroll down to your post from 8 years ago, but just go through those first 9 most recent posts and make sure that they all relate to your niche. Now, I'm going to give you a split second to take a screenshot or take a picture of this slide. I'm going to have a sip of water and you can take a picture of this slide. And I want you to make sure that your profile has all of these boxes checked off, that it has all of these different things checked off. All right, we got the username, the profile picture, the niche statement, the first 9, all that good stuff. All right, so that's step 2. We have the niche clearly identified, step 1. Step 2, we have the profile optimized. We got our storefront looking good. Step 3, we get to posting. And you post with a growth strategy. This is step 3 of 3, by the way. It's only 3 steps on this flight. I know people overcomplicate things and there's the 19 steps to growing on TikTok. It's 3 steps. Every social network, boil it all down. 3 steps. Identify your niche, optimize your profile, and post with a growth strategy. There are 4 growth strategies that are currently working on social media. 4 growth strategies. And these are the 4 that are working across all the social networks. These are not hacks. These are not things that are fads or trends. These are the 4 things that are consistently working across all social networks. The 4 growth strategies that are working in 2022 are: number 1, posting share-worthy content. And just so you know, I'm going to give you the 4 right now, and then we're going to go through each of them in depth so that you can understand what they are. Post share-worthy content. Number 2, post multiple times per day to the feed. And I needed to add to the feed because if you're on Instagram and you're posting multiple stories per day, that will not help you grow. They need to be feed posts. Similarly, on TikTok, if you're posting to the new TikTok stories feature and you're not posting to the feed, that will not help you grow. So post to the feed. Number 3, post what we call currently favored content, the content that is currently favored by the platform. And then 4th, create intentional engagement. That's number 4. All right, so let's go through these 4 strategies. Let's start with number 1. Let's start with post share-worthy content. What does that mean? Well, let's deconstruct this sentence a little bit. It's sharing posts, creating reels and TikToks and tweets and videos on YouTube that are worth being shared by other people. So if me, person A, Brock, if I post something, you as the viewer, you see it and you're like, "Ooh, I need to share that with my friends. I need to send that to my group of girlfriends." And how many of us are doing that all day anyways, right? We're seeing a funny video, we're sending it to our partner. We're seeing a funny tweet, we're screenshotting it and sending it in our group chat. We're seeing a hilarious reel and we're sending it to our business partner. All day long, we are sharing posts. And that is a huge component of growth on social media. And creating the kinds of posts that get shared, creating share-worthy content is the ultimate consistent growth hack. But why do shares equal growth? That's always the question, right? Why do shares create such sustained growth? Why shares not likes? Why should I go for shares and not views? Why should I go on Instagram? Why should I go for shares? I've heard that saves are really great on Instagram. But what about comments? All those forms of engagement are great, but ultimately shares are the best way to grow. And the reason for that is because when people share your post, their followers discover you. The best form of marketing on the planet is not billboards. It's not Super Bowl commercials. It's not telemarketers. It's not an amazing campaign done by an influencer. The best form of marketing on the planet since the dawn of human history is word of mouth marketing. Friend to friend recommendations. Sharing things that one person found and another person would find helpful. That is the ultimate form of marketing. There's nothing more powerful than when a friend recommends something to you. When someone you know or someone you already trust or you like says, "Hey, check this out. Hey, you should buy this. Hey, I love this. You got to check this out." There's nothing more powerful than word of mouth marketing. And the social media equivalent is a share. When people share your posts, their followers discover you. So more shares directly leads to more followers. The exact step-by-step process of how to share is a little bit different on every platform, but it's essentially the same thing. It's usually you tap a paper airplane button or you tap a little arrow and then they send it to their friends. When someone shares your post, you directly get at least one more viewer, one more person discovering you. So shares. Number two, post multiple times per day to the feed. And you know what? Before we even move on to number 2, I want to go back for a second and I want to talk a little bit more about share-worthy content because I think we might understand by now that shares are what help you grow, but I want to talk about what kind of content gets shared most often. The kind of content that is most likely to get shared is the kind of content that represents or says something about the person sharing it. If I see your post and I'm sharing it with a friend, it's most likely because that post says something about me. And we can create that by creating relatable posts, posts that identify a problem that we have, or an issue or a challenge that we've faced, or something that is relatable to our group of people. So relatable content is hugely shareable. Newsworthy content is also hugely shareable. If you can find something in your industry that is news, breaking news, trending topics. I think about like what happened at the Oscars, right? Like that's news. There's a reason why everyone is sharing memes about what happened at the Oscars, because that's news. It's trending. And I know you might be thinking, well, there's never really any news in my industry. There's never that much like trending topics related to my industry. But here's something that can be used as a breaking news in your industry: dispelling myths. When you dispel a myth related to your industry or what you do, when you dispel a myth related to your niche, that is breaking news. I do it all the time on my Instagram because there's a million myths floating around about what I do for a living. There's a million myths floating around about how you do grow on Instagram or what is effective on TikTok. And so when I dispel a myth, when I tell people, hey, everyone's been saying this, but this isn't true, that is newsworthy, and that is something that would get shared. And I think the ultimate way to think about something and determine if it's going to be shared is to ask yourself this question. I want you to write this down if you're taking notes. Ask yourself this question: would this post matter to a stranger? Would it matter to a stranger? Because if a stranger sees this post and it would matter to them, well, then it's share worthy. But if a stranger sees the post and it wouldn't really matter, like it only really matters to your Aunt Sue and your Uncle John and your cousins, if it's only going to matter to your family and friends, well, then it's not going to get shared, right? So we need to create content that would matter to a stranger. I want you to ask yourself that question and think about that when you are creating your posts moving forward. All right, so now we can move on to number 2, post multiple times per day. Let's talk about it. First of all, let's look at the data. I'm not a huge math nerd, but I do love looking at graphs, and I think this one will make a lot of sense. Here is plotted out the growth rate by the number of posts per week. Growth rate by the number of posts per week. There's a few things, a few data points here that I want to point out for you. First is this one right here. Posting just once per week leads to greater growth. If I could extrapolate, which is a big word here, if I could extend this graph right here, it goes down. If you're posting 0 times per week, you're not at 0% growth, you're at negative growth. You are losing followers. If you're posting even less than that, you're posting once a month, you're posting once every other month, less and less growth, losing more and more followers. So just by posting once a week, the average growth rate is 2%. So that should be a sign of encouragement for you. I know that the growth strategy was to post multiple times per day, but even just once per week, once every 7 days, averages a 2% growth rate. How about this data point right here? That is 7 posts per week. For you math majors out there, that's 1 post per day. 1 post per day leads to an 8.5% growth rate. That's way more. So if you scale your posting up from once a week to once a day, you go from 2% growth to over 8% growth. And I don't think I need to draw this line because I think it's pretty intuitive, but I'll draw it anyways. There it is right there. Plain and simple. The numbers continue to increase. And that's what leads me to say, the more you post, the more you grow. And this is proven on every single social network. On Instagram, on TikTok, on Twitter, on Facebook, on podcasts, on YouTube, every single one of these networks, every single one of these social platforms, the numbers are the exact same. The more you post, the more you can grow. So that means, 1 reel a day, 2 reels a day, 3, 4 reels in a day, 5 TikToks in one day, 6 TikToks in one day. The more you post, the more you grow. 1 YouTube video a week, 2 a week, a YouTube video every single day. The more you post, the more you grow. But how is posting that much even possible? Because I'm sure your blood pressure just went through the roof. Like I'm sure that was very anxiety producing, and I'm sorry for doing that to you, but how is posting this much even possible? And maybe you're listening right now, maybe you're the anomaly and you're like, This is great news because I can post all day long. I can do 19 posts a day. That's great. But for 99% of us, posting that much seems impossible. So how is posting that much possible? I have 4 quick tips for you for how that is possible. Number 1, stop overanalyzing. Stop trying to make perfect posts. And, I'm going to pull down these slides because I want you to see me right now. Stop trying to make perfect posts. Stop trying to hit a home run with every single thing you post. Just hit a single, hit a double, just get on base. When you try to hit a home run with every single post, you're going to keep striking out. Trying to create A+, amazing, mind-blowing content, that's stressful. That's overwhelming. No wonder posting multiple times a day seems like too much to handle, because you're trying to make A+ top tier posts with every single post. When instead your competitor is over here posting C level, C level, C level, C level, C level. C's get degrees, baby. C's get degrees. C's work on social media. Don't try to post A+ level content. Aim for C. Aim for C+. C level content is good enough. And you're capable of good enough. And newsflash, good enough is good enough. Notice in those 4 growth strategies that I shared for 2022, one of them was not post perfect content, post amazing content, post the greatest thing that anyone's ever seen. You don't need to break the internet with every single post. You just need to consistently post, consistently show up, consistently serve. I ask people all the time, what matters more, quality or quantity? And everyone says quality, that's what matters. Quality is what matters. Quality and focusing on it is a slippery slope towards perfectionism. It's a slippery slope towards burnout, towards overwhelm, towards never posting at all. Because you try to make such high level quality, you compare yourself to other people, you look at the post they made, you look at how much they're growing, and you're like, I'm never going to reach that. Instead, just focus on quantity. Focus on creating content, posting more. And then here's the secret. The secret is when you focus on quantity, the quality improves, because quantity is practice. More posts is more practice. So if you want to improve your quality, you do that by posting more, by practicing more, by increasing your quantity. So stop overanalyzing your posts. Stop trying to make perfect posts. Take it from me. I posted something this morning that I'm like, this is okay. This is average. This isn't that great. But I posted it, and I'm going to post again in a couple hours, and I'm going to post again a couple hours after that, because I'm not sitting here over analyzing my content. It's number 1. Number 2, hire help. I don't have time to go into another whole rant. Like, I could take down the slides again and go off on another whole tangent about how you need to hire help, and you need to outsource, and you need to get a team, and you need to listen. I understand it might not be possible for everyone. I understand not everyone has the financial means to hire help. But just trust me, if you want to take this business seriously, if you want to grow to the level of your dreams, you can't do it alone. Even if it's hiring inexpensive help, hiring someone for $10 to design a graphic for you, paying someone $5 to transcribe your audio so that you can turn your videos into tweets and blogs. You can hire help, and I want to encourage you to do so. Number 3, create systems that work for you. And I know people recommend different kinds of systems. Some people recommend batching. Some people recommend, oh, you need to use this certain process or flow. It's different for everyone. So I just want you to find the system that works for you. And then number 4, repost or recreate. That is a huge hack to how you can post more. Because again, that's what we're talking about right now. How do you post more? How is it possible to post multiple times a day? But let's talk about that one. Let's talk about reposting or recreating. This strategy is going to blow some people's minds. It's a pretty simple strategy, but it's extremely effective when put into practice. The reposting strategy. First of all, how do you do it? Find great content, request the people who created the content, request that you can reshare it, download or save the content however you can, and then post it. So you are literally reposting other people's posts onto your feed. Again, request it first, ask them, get their permission, download it and repost it. Give them credit. You're not stealing their content. I'm not recommending that you siphon off other people's followers and you steal their posts, but you are reposting and crediting them. And this is a huge hack to save you time and post great content. You can also recreate content. That's the other option. You can repost other people's content, or you can recreate your own versions, which is very simple. Find great content, recreate your own version, and then post it. Very, very simple. Here is some case studies really quickly of how that works. Here's some accounts that we run and manage. Over here, you'll see Push Me Daily, which has 115,000 followers. Home Workouts for You, right here in the middle, has 640,000 followers, so over 500,000. And then Marketing Impact Academy over here on the right with 60,000 followers. The slide I'm about to show you, everything you're going to see in green is a repost or a recreation. Look at that. Across all three accounts, there's only 1, 2, 3, 4 posts that are new or original or are unique. All the rest are either reposts or recreations. That allows us to post more, that allows us to post content that we know is going to do well, right? Because it's already proven to be viral for other people. It's already proven by other people to be a great post, an effective post. And now we're just sharing that with our audience. That increases our visibility. That increases our followers. That increases our reach. The thing that jumps out to me the most about this slide is the one, this one right here, the one account that has the most followers, over 500,000, is 100% reposts. What that means is we don't have to do any work for that account. We have an account with over 500,000 engaged followers who are all following us because we have this singular subject, this singular niche for our account. 500,000 people. We hardly have to do any work. We hardly have to put in any effort. But when it comes time to sell, when it comes time to promote, when it comes time to launch a new product or offer a new sale, we have 500,000, over 500,000 engaged people who are ready to purchase, who are invested in this product, who follow and are engaged in this account. So mix in reposting and mix in recreating to even your personal page. Even on my personal Instagram account, my Brock 11 Johnson page, I'm constantly recreating top performing content. I'm resharing and reposting content that other people have posted that's done well for them. I'm even reposting my own content that's done well for me. I'm like, oh, hey, I have a post from January that did really well. I'm going to post it again. Literally taking the exact same post I did in January and sharing it again now. That way, I don't have to spend more time creating content, coming up with what to post. And that allows me to post more. Really quick case study that we recently did before I move on to that third growth strategy. Really quick case study. We did a test on one of our accounts recently, and for an entire week, we only posted old content, like I was just describing. We only took posts that we had posted a few months ago. We took our best posts from a few months ago and we just shared them again. Same caption, same post, same video, same audio, all that stuff. Posted again for an entire week. That means for an entire week, we did not have to come up with a new post. We could have been on autopilot, been on vacation in the Bahamas, and still had all of this content shared because it's stuff that we had already created. And here were the results. New followers increased by 244%. Reach increased by 189%. And engagement increased by 178%. Look at those numbers. That's a huge increase. And it took 0% more work. It took 0% more effort, 0% creativity. Taking old posts that we had previously posted and sharing them again. So again, the second growth strategy for 2022 is to post more, multiple posts per day. All right, let's move on to growth strategy number 3. And I promise we are landing this plane very soon. Like we're in our final descent. We're in our final approach. The fasten seatbelt sign is turned back on. The tray tables are put in their up and locked position. We are landing this plane very soon. Strategy number 3 of 4, post currently favored content. I'll tell you what's currently favored right now, and it's based off this graph right here. Percentage of global mobile traffic from 2011 to 2021. There's something really interesting that happened in 2017, and that is mobile traffic crossed the 50% mark. What that means is, of all of the mobile usage, or all of the internet usage in the world, more than 50% is now done using this bad boy right here. More than half the planet is consuming their content, is using the internet on their phone more than on their laptop, more than on their computer, more than on their desktop. We're using our phones more than anything else to get online and to consume content. We're using our phones. And so what that means is content that is made for the phone is king. Gone are the days of horizontal video. Like right now, you're watching a horizontal video, right? Same way you would on TV. It's a horizontal video. It's sometimes called a landscape style video, just like TV, just like Netflix. Those things are great. And we love watching YouTube videos in horizontal, but we're spending most of our time on this bad boy. We're spending most of our time on our phones. So content that is created for the phone is going to be favored. What does that mean? Like, let's put this into actual, like legitimate terms. Like, what does this actually mean? First of all, on Instagram, it's Reels, Instagram Reels. They perform 22% better than all other kinds of feed posts. Reels on Instagram, YouTube Shorts on YouTube. Like I said, we love horizontal videos on YouTube, but the fastest growing content on YouTube are those vertical videos, the YouTube Shorts, fastest growing content on YouTube. And on TikTok, I mean, that's all it is. TikTok is only videos for your phone. You ever try to watch TikTok on your computer? That's miserable. That's like watching a postage stamp. TikTok is the #1 downloaded social media app over the last 3 years because it was perfectly made for our phones. So what is currently being favored on these social platforms? It's the vertical videos, the Reels, the TikToks, the YouTube Shorts, videos on Twitter. Let's talk about what is currently popular within these strategies, though. Currently popular is the things you've seen. It's trending audios, it's the short videos, it's the lip syncs, it's the pointing to text. Those are the things we're used to. Those are the things that are working right now. You can take a screenshot of this really quickly, but this is what's currently working. I want to tell you what's coming next. What's coming next to these platforms is original content, original audio, longer videos, and creative production. That's what's coming next. That's what you need to be aware of. So these vertical videos that you're making on your phone, what's coming next is your own content, your own original audio, educational, inspirational, storytelling. So you got to start practicing. It's time to start filming ourselves on our phones vertically, telling a story, inspiring others, teaching, motivating, giving a quick tip, giving a quick hack, breaking some news, telling people about a trending situation, something that is all over the media and all over the news. Original content is what's coming next. And we're already seeing 2 to 3 times more engagement on original content than on the dancing, pointing, lip syncing content that so much of us are used to. So that's growth strategy number 3, to post content that is currently favored on the platform. And the final growth strategy is to create intentional engagement. Create intentional engagement. Now, really quickly, I need to explain to you how the algorithm works. And this is how the algorithm works on every single platform. How the algorithm works on every single platform. You make a post. The platform, whether it be TikTok or Instagram or Twitter or Facebook, YouTube, whatever, shows it to a certain amount of people. If those people all engage, they like it, they save it, they share it, they comment, all that good stuff, then the algorithm shows it to more people. And if those people engage, then the algorithm shows it to more people and more people. And as long as people keep engaging, the Instagram algorithm or the TikTok algorithm will show it to more people. Compare that to if you make a post and only a handful of people engage. Well, then the algorithm's like, ooh, this must not be very good. Let's not show it to as many people. So they show it to less people. And then, of course, what happens? Even less people engage. So then the algorithm's like, ooh, this is really not good. So then they show it to only a handful of people. And of course, of that handful, only a very few amount engage. And that is how you end up with one post doing great, going maybe even viral, and another post that completely flops. So if I were to sum this up, it's basically more engagement leads to more reach. If you want your post to reach more people and get seen by more people, you have to increase your engagement. The more engagement you get, the more reach you will get. Now, final slide. I have 5 tips for you on how to increase your engagement. How to increase your engagement. Because again, remember, this 4th growth strategy is to create intentional engagement. So how do we do that? How do you boost your engagement? Here's 5 tips I have for you. Number 1, post at the optimal time. Everyone has a different optimal time, so you got to figure out what is your optimal time. Number 2, ask a question. When you ask a question, you're more likely to get a response. If I'm a teacher standing at the front of a classroom, I'm more likely to get my students to respond to me if I'm asking them a question than if I'm just rambling on having a monologue. Ask a question. And I say content greater than caption because if you can put your question into the actual video, if you can put your question into the reel or into the YouTube short or into the TikTok video, it's more likely to get an answer. Number 3, reply to comments with a follow-up question. If you are lucky enough to have someone comment on your video or on your post, ask them a follow-up question. Don't just leave it there. Don't just leave their comment there. Start a conversation. Thank them for their comment and ask them a follow-up question to get the conversation going. Number 4, use a clear and simple call to action. Right now, I need everyone to do this with me. Tap the top of your head, just like this. Use your right hand, just tap the top of your head, just like this. Tap the top of your head. That was a clear and simple call to action. I told you, and I even showed you exactly what to do. If you were just watching this video, you probably wouldn't have just naturally been doing this. But because I gave you that call to action, because I explicitly and clearly told you what to do, I was more likely to get you to do it. You were more likely to act because I gave you a clear and explicit instruction. So on your posts, give clear and explicit instructions. And then finally, engage with other people. It's called social media. It's not called media. It's not called me media. It's not all about you. It's not all about your post. It's not all about your content. It's about being social. The more social you can be, the better. The more you can network and comment and engage with other people, the better. So comment on other people's posts in your industry. Network with other people in your industry. Direct message other people in your industry. Become a fan and become plugged into your community. Don't just expect people to plug in to your own community. Like, reach out to other people and join that niche, join that conversation. It's called social media. So again, to recap, those 4 growth strategies for 2022 were: number 1, to post share-worthy content. Number 2, post multiple times per day. Number 3, post currently favored content. And number 4, create intentional engagement. It starts with niche, it moves on to the optimized profile, and then you post with a growth strategy. Those 3 steps are how you grow on any social network. If you want to grow in 2022, follow these 3 steps and you will have success. I want to encourage you to just get started. I know this was a lot of information. I hope you took notes. I hope you took screenshots, but ultimately boil it down, simplify it down. Identify your focus, clean up your profile, and then get to posting. Rip off that Band-Aid and just get started. They who start and fail will always be ahead of they who fail to start. I'll say it again. They who start and fail are far more likely to succeed than they who fail to start. So I want to encourage you to just get started. Just start posting. It's not going to be perfect. Remember my rant about A+ home run content versus the C's get degrees content? Just get started. What you are capable of creating is good enough. And good enough is good enough. So I want to encourage you to rip off that Band-Aid and just get started today. Thank you.
Okay, you listen